Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special, and now it's time for us to talk about what happened during the second half of Monday Night Raw from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than Akira Tozawa going one-on-one against R-Truth for the 24/7 7-Eleven I-95 South European binge-watching episodes of 24 Championship. Or whatever he said tonight describing that championship belt. But before this match can even kick off, and with all the ninjas surrounding ringside, let's just say things wouldn't go the way that they hoped, because next thing you know, you would see none other than Bobby Lashley in tow with MVP coming out there to not only dispatch the ninjas with clotheslines and tosses into the barricade, and even a disgusting spine buster on the apron. Would see Bobby Lashley applying the full Nelson to R-Truth in the center of the ring, ragdolling him around like if he was nothing, only for him to leave the ring and for Akira Tozawa to come from underneath the ring, pin R-Truth, and for the second time in his career, become 24/7 champion via pinfall. Now, technically, R-Truth lost the championship to Bobby Lashley, but I don't even think Bobby Lashley wants that championship belt. And the reason why? We'll explain later. But before then, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see Natalya Neidhart going one-on-one against Liv Morgan. And this week, Natalya would be in tow with Lana. Now I see the two broken toy soldiers have decided to team up with each other to go against Liv Morgan, and would it help during this match? As a matter of fact, it would. Because during this said match, when it looked like Liv Morgan was in control, next thing you know, Lana would end up distracting her after Liv Morgan would do a beautiful head scissors from the inside of the ring to the outside, sort of reminding me of some cruiserweight action from WCW, only for her to get chop blocked at the leg, and then for Natalya to take advantage with a sharpshooter in the center of the ring, for Liv Morgan to tap out and to lose this match via submission. And it's real sad to see Liv Morgan lose the matches this way, to the point that you would even see Ruby Riott trying to give her a little bit of help, only for Liv Morgan to shoot it down and for Ruby Riott to just stand there in confusion. Ah, man. Remember there was a time the Riott Squad was all together at one point last year? Whatever happened to that? Well, besides all of that, folks, the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would see Ric Flair announcing Randy Orton that he was the greatest superstar ever, only for, of all people to interrupt it, the Big Show, who was upset about what happened between Randy Orton and Edge, along with the whole thing with Christian in the unsanctioned match, for him to say that he was gonna break every bone in his body and even go after Ric Flair, only for Randy Orton to bring up the history between him and the Big Show, only for Big Show not to care and to still want to beat the crap out of Randy Orton, only for Randy Orton to respond back to saying, after 20 long years of friendship, this is how you treat me? Alright, well now I gave you a warning and I'm gonna fight you in the near future. Basically what all he said, and I got a feeling that's gonna lead to a match at Extreme Rules where Randy Orton is gonna continue to live on his legacy as being the Legend Killer Reborn. And how much money do you want to bet that somehow Edge is going to get involved in all of this? Eventually, once his tricep heals. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw to continue this Night of Champions night would see none other than Bayley and Sasha Banks going one-on-one against the Iconics for the SmackDown, or should I say the Women's Tag Team Championships. And the reason why I was about to call them the SmackDown Women's Tag Team Championships, because they spent more time on SmackDown than they did on Raw. Which is true, really is, if you look back at the history of it. But besides the history of that belt, folks, during this match, action would go back and forth and would see Peyton Royce pulling off a beautiful tiger knee to the head of one Sasha Banks, leading directly into a fisherman suplex by Billie Kay for a near fall, and not to mention probably one of the cleanest looking fisherman suplexes I've seen in a while in the ring. But would it help them win this said contest even though we said it was a near fall? Unfortunately, no, because during this match, in the later goings, despite the role that the Iconics was on, just when they were about to hit their iconic clash, is what I'm gonna call that reverse version of the Magic Killer, Sasha Banks would be able to fight her way out and apply the Banks statement on Billie Kay during this match for her to win this match and retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships via submission. And for those who are keeping count at home, I do believe that's 4 submission victories tonight out of pinfalls. My God, it looks like submissions are winning the night over. Not bad. And after the match was over, Sasha Banks would pick up the microphone and would say to Bayley, "I'm a little bit jealous of what's going on here with you having the Women's Championship. So at Extreme Rules, I'm challenging you, Asuka, for the Raw Women's Championship." Only for Asuka to come out and say, "You're not the boss of me," to probably quote Malcolm in the Middle's theme song, and then for life to truly be unfair, because next thing you know, Bayley and Sasha Banks would both try to team up to beat the crap out of the Empress of Tomorrow, for her to put up a good fight, only for Sasha Banks from behind to hit the backstabber directly into the Banks statement, for the match at Extreme Rules to be official. But at the same time, what type of match is going to be at Extreme Rules? Because for those who don't remember, in the earlier years of Extreme Rules, every single match at Extreme Rules would have some form of stipulation tied to it, and I got a feeling this one is going to be a submission match. Really do, since both of their finishers are submissions. Yeah, definitely a submission match. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be the main event of the evening, which would see none other than Apollo Crews going one-on-one against Shelton Benjamin for the United States Championship. Now, prior to this U.S. title match, you would see MVP once again trying to recruit Apollo Crews to his team that seems to be growing more and more by the day, only for Apollo Crews to shoot down his offer once again by telling him that he's going to be a fighting champion regardless of what MVP says. And then MVP would say, "Well, you definitely gonna need my help because you're not gonna have a long title reign if you keep up on the way you're going." Just like he said last week, only this week he would mention his well over 304 day or 8 day, I keep forgetting how long his title reign was, of the United States Championship, which was a historic title reign. And I'm pretty sure is probably one of the longest title reigns to date, besides the original title reigns that I don't remember as well. Maestro said we should have had some form of notes on the reigns of the United States Championship, but usually that was my sister's job. Yeah, it really was. But outside of all that, folks, next thing you know, Shelton Benjamin would make his way into the VIP lounge, only for MVP to distract him long enough for Shelton Benjamin to take a cheap shot with a right hand to the face and a toss into the post, only for MVP to say, "Now next time, make sure you don't take your eyes off your opponent. That gem's for free, but the next one's gonna cost you." Only for this match to go back and forth between the two only for Apollo Crews to somehow find a way to come back during this match with a disgusting cruise missile powerbomb for Apollo Crews to win this United States Championship match via pinfall. And after the match was over and after Apollo Crews was celebrating up the ramp, MVP, like a proud father who got an award that thought he got an award through his own son, would decide to celebrate on behalf of Apollo Crews, only for Apollo Crews to get blindsided by Bobby Lashley and have a full Nelson lock hooked in on him as well, for Bobby Lashley's new target to beat the United States Championship in a match that I do believe is going to happen at Extreme Rules. Ah, man. So after not getting a chance at the WWE Championship for well over 13 years, you're going to go ahead and settle for the United States Championship. Right. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than Rey Mysterio and Dominic in the center of the ring after Rey Mysterio would return to Monday Night Raw after what happened to him from getting sacrificed by one Seth Rollins. And sacrifice meaning his eye almost gouged out of his head by Seth Rollins, who almost went cross-eyed trying to do it. Right. And Dominic would get told off by his father, telling him that I didn't want you to be here, I wanted to handle this myself. But Dominic would utter back that we're a family, and a family that is willing to fight, and wants Seth Rollins out here so he can handle their business. Only for Seth Rollins, after preaching rhetoric throughout the entire night about sacrificing somebody, and meaning Dominic, would then go drop on his knees and would have none other than Austin Theory and, of course, Murphy try to come out to try to handle his business, only for Humberto Carrillo, along with Aleister Black, to give some backup to Rey Mysterio in the form of Humberto Carrillo taking out none other than Austin Theory and, of course, Murphy with a corkscrew plancha to the outside of the ring, but also seeing Aleister Black in the center of the ring taking out Murphy yet again with a nasty tiger knee to the face, only for Rey Mysterio and Dominic to truly get their revenge on Seth Rollins by almost gouging his eye out. Now I say almost because none other than Murphy with a Sparta kick to the face of Dominic, and of course Austin Theory trying to take out Rey Mysterio, would both hold back Rey Mysterio long enough for Dominic to almost get his eye gouged out, only for none other than Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo to come along with steel chairs in tow to stop all of that nonsense from happening, for the Monday Night Messiah and his disciples to just curse the name of Rey Mysterio up the ramp for besmirching their good name, for Monday Night Raw to come to a close for this week. And oh, and thank you for reminding me, Maestro, Rey Mysterio during that impromptu attack would actually live up to the promise that he made to Seth Rollins that he got a 619 waiting for him the second he came back, because he would definitely hit Seth Rollins in the face with a 619. Now, if he was wearing that knee brace that he had on his knee when he went up against Cody Rhodes, I wonder if there would have been a dashing Seth Rollins afterwards. Or undashing. I forgot, he wore that face mask thing and then became undashing all the way until after WrestleMania 27. But I digress. Once again, going back into the history books like we always do around here. And with that said, folks, I think it's time for us to go back to this music, grab yet another glass of water, and when we return, we'll be back with more of this Streetlight Summer Delight as the Tuesday Night Special rolls on right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.